Hey everybody, hope you guys can hear me. If somebody can put a quick comment in the box. And I assume we are live. What I'm just going to do is just jump right in. So a lot of questions have been coming in to me. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. A lot of questions have come in through Patreon, some comments on YouTube, and comments in Discord regarding the concerns about Binance. Is it safe? As you all know, I've been very pro Binance for a long time, and let's just jump right in. So first of all, this is not an opinion, good or bad. Full disclaimer, it's not investment advice, it's just edutainment. And Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. I love their platform. I love the large set of coins they have. I like their yields. I like the Binance chain. I love the way they've done equity tokenization for things like Tesla. I think it's really cool. Super creative organization. And also, in full disclosure, I got into BNB early this year. And that's the reason I opened a Binance account early 2021, because I felt Binance would be a great way to play the whole Coinbase DPO or IPO, whatever you want to call it. And I also felt that the Binance BNB token would be a much better value than buying the Coinbase IPO itself. So I did. I bought the BNB token at about $200 and I bought more at about $400. So I were dollar cost average upwards, which is not clever. So I went all in, very, very pro. But over the past few months, again, I'm on the receiving end of a lot of information. A lot of people, first of all, have been complaining to me about the impossible, what I call verification hoops. It's impossible to get an account opened. The know your customer, at least in the US, for Binance.us has been extremely difficult to work with. And I got my first alarm about a month ago from an underground article about the liquidity risk of Binance. And I pushed it off because I received a lot of stuff, and if I believed everything I actually read, we'd never get anywhere. So pushed it off, ignored it, kept it in the back of my head. Then we had a bunch of Patreon members in Australia who say their accounts have been frozen for weeks. They can't get their money out. And I thought maybe there's some regulatory issue in Australia clamping down, banks not allowing people to transfer money in or out, etc. So didn't worry too much about that. And then on May 12th, Binance Global exchange halted withdrawals globally. And that temporary suspension affected all users. And then people started getting very concerned. You know, when people work very hard for the money and they put it with somebody they trust and all of a sudden they can't get access to it, it causes a lot of nervousness. So one Binance customer is an interesting story. Out of desperation, he sought information online and couldn't get any customer service. So he wound up texting the mother of the Binance US CEO, Catherine Coley, to get his funds unstuck, which is kind of very clever. And now Binance closed his account. And by the way, Catherine Coley stepped down and she was replaced by the former officer of the control of the currency, Brian Brooks, who worked under the Trump administration. So interesting story there, and I'll talk more about Brian in a few minutes too. And then a few weeks back, Bloomberg reported Thursday, I think it was, as part of the Binance inquiry, that the U.S. Justice Department and the IRS, Internal Revenue Service in the United States, sought some information from individuals with insights into business. This is kind of normal. The IRS wants to find out exactly who's doing what, where, so they can generate more tax revenue. And the Justice Department wants to try to find criminals. So that, again, I wasn't too concerned about that. Now, when things started going a bit strange was when I noticed that other exchanges like Coinbase don't like Binance, which I understand as well. It's competitive, and Binance is the largest in the world. But Coinbase quit an industry trade group in protest after Binance US was allowed to join in. Now, the Coinbase executive wrote a resignation letter, and the recent weeks have demonstrated to us that the Blockchain Association, or words to this effect, is not interested in our membership criteria that we worked so hard to establish to underpin the mission of this organization. So in this whole investigation, I started getting a lot more respect for Coinbase, and now I do most of my trading on Coinbase Pro and FTX, also in full disclosure. So in other news, what also happened is the Bundesanstalt für Finanzdienstleistungsaufsicht Finanzdienstleistungsaufsicht, which is a very, very long German word, or BAFIN, Germany issued a notice stating that stock tokens launched by Binance may have violated some European securities laws because they use the service of a German broker, which is strictly against the law, not only in Germany, but other parts of the European Union. So again, another slap on the wrist. And Brian Brooks was then made a CEO of Binance to try fix regulatory issues. I'm not sure exactly, but it was a very cunning move by CZ, who is the CEO of Binance. Obviously, he saw a lot of regulatory problems, Justice Department's investigations. So he said, come on over. You're a former, government individual. You can fix this for us with all your connections. So, and at the time, Binance was, I think, under investigation by the Justice Department and the IRS, like I mentioned before. And they also have evidence that there was some shady things going on within Binance. Now, Brooks did say that Zhao, CZ, recruited him to the job and gave him complete management control. So Brian Brooks is now the CEO of Binance. And he said he and Zhao have a very good rapport, and that the Binance board plans to bring in more investors and expand its board, which is all goodness. Now, the Justice Department after that did confirm, after Brian Brooks is made CEO, that Binance has concealed illicit transactions, which is a big no-no. So once you get on the radar of something like the IRS or the Justice Department, it's hard to get off that radar. And that's kind of troubling and a problem. So just for those who are trying, do anything with tax authorities, once you get identified by breaking the law with a tax authority, they will never leave you alone for the rest of your life. So always pay your taxes and don't bend the rules. Now, in other news, what actually happened as well, just a day or two ago, Silvergate Bank. Silvergate is a stock that I'm looking at heavily. I don't own, but they are doing a lot of the crypto custody for banks in the US. Big operation. They all of a sudden abruptly disabled US deposits and withdrawals from Binance. So crypto-friendly Silvergate Bank stopped providing services to Binance without mentioning why. Now, international users of Binance will no longer be able to deposit and withdraw USD via Silvergate. Big problem. And for probably the number one or number two shop of its kind to cut off ties like that abruptly was kind of scary. Then, finally, Binance's CFO, Zhao, abruptly left the company again 1 or 2 days ago. And as usual, the company declined to talk about Wei's whereabouts or the reasons, apart from the usual crap. So the number one rule of public relations I've learned in my life is always get ahead of the story. If you bury your head in the sand, it makes people think up stuff. So I'm not saying anything about this, but it seems like the PR department of Binance needs to up their game a little bit. And also, what I've learned just from watching companies for 30 years, when a CFO quits, it's typically for 3 reasons, maybe 4, but let's just talk about the 3 big ones. First of all, they get a better offer somewhere else. We don't know if this guy's going to another company or not. Maybe they have more money than God and they don't need to work anymore. We know that's not the case. People who are in that type of position tend to keep on working no matter how much money they have. Or number 3, maybe they noticed some nefarious activities and they tried to get out before they get entangled. And his timing was impeccable as well, which is kind of interesting. So, to be able to get out just before all this stuff happened with Silvergate and other investigations, it's crazy. Again, regarding a PR rule violation, Binance declined to comment on any Silvergate-related questions when reached, which is bad. Obviously, Silvergate just don't cut off ties for no reason. Now, in other news, just the other day, I think yesterday, the Binance-owned Indian exchange WazirX is being investigated for AML failings and suspicious transactions worth about 23 billion rupees. I think there's about 70 rupees per the dollar, so it's substantial money. And these were not recorded on the blockchain platform or submitted for any audit or investigation. So what this basically means is the users of WazirX could transfer funds without proper documentation, making it a safe haven for those looking to launder money. Of course, very frowned upon. So again, in summary, I'm old enough to know that where there's smoke, there's fire. When sister industries boycott you, it's not a good sign. When regulators in India investigate you, in the USA investigate you, and in Germany investigate you, you're all breathing down your throat, it's not a good sign. When banks cut you off, not a good sign. When the CFO quits without saying why, not a good sign. And when customers can't get access to their funds, they get really upset. And that's why I'm kind of putting this together. So I don't know what's going on with Binance. I wish they'd be more open. I wish they'd share more information. But when I analyzed other similar exchanges, I couldn't find anywhere near the same type of history for Coinbase or others. And if anything, everything could probably be okay, but it's good to be aware of risks. And a big part of this channel is to help you all be aware of risks. This is not a ding on Binance, but rather a way of answering a lot of questions you all have. And of course, please do your own research. But I'm old enough to know, as I mentioned, where there's smoke, there's fire. So that's kind of where we are. And I'd like to open this up to some questions from you all, because a lot of people said they missed the Q&A stuff. So here I am. So let me go and pop open some of the questions and see what's going on out there. Bear with me 1 second. Make sure this works and wait for the questions to load. And where are they? Here they are. All right, I got your questions. So first of all, happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm gonna jump in here and find out what's going on. Live chat. What are your concerns on the summit this weekend? I'm not sure which summit that is. So Ella Blue, Coinbase Pro is maybe a bit better than regular Coinbase. Yes, it's a lot better, especially for things like limit orders and other features, lower rates, lower fees. So yeah, and it's very easy to upgrade your account from Coinbase to Coinbase Pro. Shouldn't be a problem. Gonna be a lot of questions today. Oh my god. Display ZZZ, Mount Gox 2.0. No, I don't think it's that bad. CZ, you know, from what I know about the guy, he's a good fellow. I'm not that concerned, but they are just getting hammered right now. It's like a confluence of a perfect storm of all negativity and badness happening at the same time. So I just want you all to be careful. Hey, question from Frank Abbott. Do you sell into US dollars or stable coins, and why? So sometimes I move fiat into stable coins because you can sometimes get better rates when you use it to purchase fiat, or just easier to move around. And that's why sometimes people can do it. Other people, sometimes you can earn good interest rate on stable coins. But again, there's also a little bit of smoke around USDT. So I like USDC now within Coinbase. Again, I'm not shilling or marketing anything. It's just, I think it's a safer platform. Let me see. What other questions I may have missed? So Takato, ICP. People have been hammering me for, I think, 10 to 12 weeks about ICP. Everybody, even if you're not a TA person, just look at the chart. It's the ugliest chart I've ever seen in my life. And I haven't touched ICP. And it's classic. When the founders and the initial investors start selling their shares at 540, and the poor retail investor is buying at 540, and then every day it falls $5 or $10 like clockwork. It is a disaster. It's a very, very ugly situation. The G7 summit. That summit. Okay, James, G7 summit. Bitcoin expected to be brought up negatively by our president. Yeah, government officials all around the world are very, very worried about crypto and Bitcoin and everything else for obvious reasons. Like, just look at the IMF yesterday freaking out about El Salvador. Let's have an emergency meeting immediately with the president of El Salvador. We're losing control. So again, my thoughts, as you know, Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin can help everybody. Bitcoin gives the small guy a chance to get ahead. So of course the government officials are going to throw FUD at it. And remember, the government officials sometimes are advised by the people that fund them, etc., etc. So they are parrots. They don't come up with their own original thought. So be careful of that. Valgo, is Binance US different from Binance? Binance US is a separate legal entity under the Binance umbrella. So different but same. Same mothership is the easy way to think about it. Yeah, Jason Price, ICP is dropping faster than the prototype Elon rocket. Yeah, if there was a way to short ICP at 540, that would have been awesome. But yeah, just be very careful. And it takes me back. What's happening with ICP is very similar to the original ICO world in 2017. So just always do deep due diligence. And as you know, people always try and push me to investigate coins, but I only look at the big, safe coins with very reputable management teams and good funding and proper use cases and good tokenomics. Again, it's very, very important that everybody does that, or else you're just going to lose your shirt. This is the Wild West. 95%, maybe more, of all coins are worthless. And just be safe out there, everybody. And it's good to be Q&Aing with you. I fly back tomorrow. But yeah, so Augustus Gloop, the Patreon portfolio, that was an example portfolio with tickers. They are not my holdings. I do not disclose how much I hold. So all those numbers in there are fake. But people asked me to include ICP. People asked me to include Doge. So you'll see a number of a holding beside Doge, and you notice every number is 500 or 100 or 1,000. They're just example numbers. I don't own ICP. Never would. I hope that. And anything, by the way, the easy way for you all to know what I own is if ever I do a token analysis, I always buy a piece. HBAR, VeChain, Solana, etc. If I make enough effort to do a token analysis, you know I'm getting in to buy it. Not that I'm shilling it, but I have to put some skin in the game as well. So I didn't expect this to turn into an ICP conversation. Thank you as well to Mike for being there. He is our moderator. I really appreciate you. And he's based all the way in New York. Hope it's not too late. Let me see. Is BlockFi a Ponzi scheme? John W. I think the word Ponzi scheme is a very strong word, but again, my principle has always been the same since the beginning of time. For me, it's not worth lending my crypto for 5% because of the counterparty risk, which I was very, very afraid of. When you have an asset, like if you look at the volatility in some of the cryptos right now, you can make 5% in a few hours. You don't need to wait for 5% for a year. So I am waiting for the market to stabilize, and then I'll get to the stage where I will borrow against my crypto, borrow fiat, and use that by which to live, by which to make real estate investments, that type of thing. But I don't think we're ready just yet. Think HUD 8 will blast off on Monday. I think HUD 8 having access to NASDAQ proper should have a bump in the stock, maybe to the tune of 10% or so, maybe more. And also, as Bitcoin recovers, HUD 8 will recover too. So, Kevin Smith, Binance versus Crypto.com. Does Binance support stops? You mean limit orders? I'm pretty sure it does. I think it does. But all good platforms have stop losses or limit orders. But I can't remember. So anyway, also in full disclosure, I got out of my BNB and I plan to put it in things like Solana. So the G7 re-Bitcoin, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin has had so much FUD thrown at it from so many different people for so long right now. What else can they say? They'll talk about energy usage. They'll talk about China. They'll talk about illicit activities. But as recently pointed out by the FBI with the whatever that pipeline ransomware situation was, the FBI openly discussed, first of all, they pretended they hacked Bitcoin, which of course they didn't. But they did say they analyzed the movement of the ransom money across 21 different wallets. So there's a lesson for everybody there. First of all, it's very difficult to hide illicit activities on the blockchain because it's a public ledger. Second of all, the FBI knows now that it's better to track things using the Bitcoin ledger than with cash, which is how thieves have been doing it since the beginning of time, or gold, or diamonds, or all that type of stuff. Albi Van Bijan, will you take your money out of Binance? Yes. Quick answer to that one. I had too many exchanges. I had 8. I'm looking to reduce the number. Sometimes I open an exchange to get access to a token. Believe it or not, I opened Binance to get access to BNB. I sold BNB, so now I don't need it anymore. So, MarGK, and I know I may regret that. My cost basis, I got in at 200. I bought some again at 400. So the average cost base about $312. I can't remember exactly. I made a little bit of money, but and it may go to 600 again. That's highly probable. But you know what? The other stuff I'm in too will do very well. Uncle D, the trade desk, 10-to-1 stock split. Thoughts, please, James. Well, if you're in Patreon, you will see all the trades we've done on the trade desk. I am hyper bullish on the trade desk. So for those who don't know, the trade desk does kind of direct to consumer marketing digitally. And as people cut cables and people do more streaming at home, this is where these guys position themselves, and they're kind of a leader in the space. And they're doing a 10-for-1 stock split very soon, which is huge. I have leaps on the trade desk, a bunch of them. I have sold puts on the trade desk as well, and I like it. So, would you wished Solana likely to fly? Yes, it is. It already ran up very high, but it's showing tremendous relative strength. Many people see it like an ETH killer. And I like Solana, but I'd wait for it to hit about $30. I'm in it at a very low price. I got in during the big dip, and since then it's been hovering around 40 to 45. But if you can get it in the low 30s or even in the 20s, for sure, it's worth a little piece, I think it will be strong in the future. Is Binance US equals Binance for European country? No. They have the proper Binance.com for all countries outside the US. And in fact, Binance US isn't even available in certain states like New York, where Mike is. DEBC, James, thoughts on Nubank, where Warren Buffett invested $500 million. I covered that in a video, actually. If one of the things I said, it's only a matter of time before Warren Buffett gets into crypto. He can't deny it anymore, and he's slowly coming around. So, Nubank in Brazil, $500 million is substantial, and a big part of their offering is crypto services. So, Warren Buffett, it's no longer rat poison. You own it. And just think about his big holding Apple as well. It's only a matter of time before Apple start putting some Bitcoin on their balance sheet too. I actually thought it would have happened already, but they've already posted jobs for crypto specialists. That's coming too. Again, the game theory is happening. The dominoes are falling. It started with small sovereign nations. It's going to continue. All roads, as I say, lead to Bitcoin. Thoughts on Ethereum downtrend? Ethereum runs in cycles. It's actually broke the trend with Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is coming back. Ethereum will come back too eventually, but there's some negative news out there right now. A lot of people are worried about some of the ETH killers, Cardano coming up, Solana coming up. So when you have situations like that, always try to get the top 1 or 2 players. I do believe Solana will take a piece of the ETH lunch, but the future is still undeniable for Ethereum, especially with how prevalent they are in the marketplace. So let me see. It's somebody who finally got alive. Crypto Quacker, whatever. Would you buy Polkadot or Solana at today's prices? Polkadot, it's cheaper. So that's my answer to that. Binance UK liquidity swaps, 80% APR. So Dan Esdale, very good question. I was going to talk about in that, but I didn't want to go into it too much detail. If you're getting 40% APR on assets or 80% APR on assets, ask yourself why it's so high. And it's real simple. No such thing as a free lunch. The higher the interest rate means the higher the risk. Adam Hartleb, did you sell your H-bar or as well did you buy somewhere else besides Binance? I still have that. So small position. Why doesn't Coinbase have Solana? That's a question from John Annan. I don't know. They were supposed to launch it 10 days ago or 12 days ago, last Monday. They have a placeholder for it. You can see it there. You can actually transfer your Sol into Coinbase Pro and keep it there, but they haven't enabled the buying of it yet, and I don't know why that's happening. Tony James, thank you so much. Thoughts on the massive quantity of BTC shorts today? Yes, and yesterday. I saw the big positions. They were buying positions at an $18,000 strike for Bitcoin. Big position, but you got to also look at the price that they pay. They're paying like 0.025% of an actual Bitcoin for premium. So sometimes when you have a very, very low price of an option that has a huge payoff, and if there is a dip, you got to understand how the options markets work. Imagine Bitcoin's at 36,000 now, 37,000, and all of a sudden there's a big dip down to say 30,000 fast. That options price, even though it's at an $18,000 strike at 0.025% or whatever the numbers were yesterday I was looking at, that'll go up in value, even though it won't reach that price. But the volatility can spike the price, and that's when they can sell. So you don't necessarily have to hold on. So I don't know exactly what the deal is there. I'm still very bullish. There's just too much buying going on. There's too much good news despite all the FUD. People have tried to push the Bitcoin price down below 30,000, and they haven't been successful. So MicroStrategy undervalued. MicroStrategy added $50 the other day, so I think people are catching on. And one of the values that I always like about MicroStrategy being a 95% Bitcoin proxy, let's call it 90%, 95%, depending on where Bitcoin is. It's the only on-ramp for many investors like hedge funds and fund managers to actually buy Bitcoin. They can buy GBTC, they can buy MicroStrategy, maybe they can buy some Square or PayPal, stuff like that. So that's what makes it extremely compelling. So Black Gaze X, thoughts on CKB Nervos with the Cardano bridge. I know the Cardano platform is building up relationships left, right, and center. They have their own Oracle now with their Charlie version, etc. They're doing a lot. I just don't know where it's all going to go, and I'm not deep on CKB at all. So not sure where that's going to go. But a good question, and I'm going to do a updated review about Cardano and where I think it's going to go within a week or two. So stay tuned for that, everybody. Let me see. Is ETH going down further? I don't know. I think, like, I'm a buyer of Ethereum under $2,400. Let me check out the price right now. Yeah, $23.75. I'm not saying to buy, not investment advice, of course, but it's interesting. Ethereum down 4%, Bitcoin's up 1.4%. Normally they track each other very well, but Solana's down 12%. So that whole sector is getting hit hard. And again, everything runs in cycles. Please remember that. So every dog has its day is probably a good way to put it. And now you see Bitcoin dominance coming back. Bitcoin has been weak. Bitcoin has been under 40% of the whole coin market cap for quite a while. And coming back, Living Pure Solutions, Zilliqa. Yes, that's coming. We hope to be able to knock that out this weekend if we're lucky. Or Monday at the latest. So that's coming out. Charles Hodgkinson looks like a creepy high school teacher from RDF. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like some of what he says and some of what he's doing, especially for the continent of Africa. So he has an honorable mission. Kusama. A lot of people ask me to look into Kusama. It's not on our list yet, but we're going to be reviewing that in the near future. But we have a long, long list of things to do. So, final question of the day. Price prediction for Voyager token. We haven't looked at Voyager token, but we started doing due diligence into it. And stay tuned for that. One of the problems is Voyager depends so much on other exchanges like Celsius and other infrastructure, so it's not really a pure play. And as you guys know, I always like the pure play plays, and that's why I haven't focused on Voyager yet. But in full disclosure, I actually do have a Voyager account, so, and I use that to buy stuff. How much dollars have super chats contributed to animals? So far, the super chats since inception is about, I think, $1,200 or $1,000. We have to look. Sometimes we get $10 or $20 per chat, and people really started doing that lately. So at least $1,000 or $1,200, and we got a list of animals we are sponsoring. We've sponsored an elephant called Nicholas lately, and a whole bunch more in the pipe, and give pet food to other facilities. So thank you for that question. And also thank you everybody for all your contributions. Again, we try to be as helpful as you can to make sure everybody doesn't get scammed and builds a strong financial future so they can be independent. I'll take this final question. Well, student coin. Yeah, don't know anything about student coin, I'm afraid. Sufyan Ahmad. Russell, Polygon Matic, my thoughts, goodbye. Yeah, a big fan of Polygon Matic, and I'm not concerned about EIP 1559. Check out my video on Polygon. You will see I am bullish on it. I own Polygon as well. It's in my top 10 cryptos. So please consider, this is from Skate Life, please consider donating to the Hawaiian Humane Society. You know what? I'm here right now. I will check it out. I don't know if it's on the particular island I am on, but I will see what we can do. And we'll definitely consider it, because I know that the Honu, the turtles, need help. And they're so cute. So, Mary Buckley. My favorite vegan curry, I like chana masala, and I make it myself. It's a chickpea curry. Super delicious, super healthy. You just got to make sure you don't use too much salt. And I eat turmeric every day with lots of black pepper. So big thank you everybody. Be safe. I'll be back at base tomorrow. Okay? And Zilica's coming, everybody. I know everybody wants Zilica. Okay. Cheers all. Thank you for everything, and thank you for being here. From this very special place. Let me figure out how to turn off this video. Let me see. Finish. Awesome. Thanks all. Bye.